The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on track tonight from Richmond International Raceway, and a lot was on the line as we look to set the field of 16 for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Denny Hamlin was your Coors Light pole sitter, and he led the field to green and shot to the lead early. But on lap 11, Ryan Blaney had his chase bubble burst. The driver of the Wood Brothers 21 got into the wall hard early on in the race. Blaney, who needed a win to qualify for NASCAR's playoff, would see those chances end in the early running. On lap 95, Jeff Gordon was involved in an incident with Ryan Newman and Chase Elliott. Gordon comes down on Newman and gets loose and into his teammate Chase Elliott, who was also fighting for a chase spot. Elliott gets into the wall, and we would see another chase hopeful have trouble in the early going at Richmond. Just past halfway, we would see pit stops after a yellow flag. Kyle Larson would win the race off of pit road, but the big hit would be to last weekend's winner, Martin Truex Jr. He gets caught speeding on pit road. Truex would have to restart at the tail end of the longest line. Lap 346, A.J. Allmendinger spins, brings out the yellow, and that sets up a strategy play for Greg Biffle. They hit pit road for their last set of new Goodyear tires as the 16 team tries to play the strategy game in a last-ditch effort to make the chase for the 2016 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series chase. Just under 50 laps to go, Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart make contact. That wreck collects David Reagan, Dylan Lupton, and Carl Edwards, and that would end any chance of Ryan Newman making the chase, but it helps Chris Buescher's cause because David Reagan's day would end after that wreck as well. Ryan Newman was hot when he got out of the car and said some things you can't take back.
I was clearly inside of him getting into turn one. He cut across my nose. I was on the brakes, on the apron, and I hit him coming off turn two, but only because I got loose. I was on the apron, and next thing I know, he's driving across my nose on the back straightaway because he's Tony Stewart, because he thinks he owns everything. So it's unfortunate, but shouldn't expect anything less from him.
I was the one that wrecked myself doing it, but it wasn't my intention to get him caught up in it. But I just, it's the third time I got run into by him in one race. I mean, what do you expect? So there's a lot of guys that after the first time would dump somebody for it. So it's got a right to be mad about it, but I got mad for what he did to me too. I mean, he wasn't innocent in it like he's acting like. I mean, he never said once that he run into me 3 times. So his version of how he was driving his car and mine are a little bit different.
On the final restart, Denny Hamlin's out front, and chase hopeful Casey Kane was restarting in the top 5, and it was a last-ditch effort for the 5 team to qualify for the chase, but it wasn't enough as Denny Hamlin gets the win at his hometown track. But the big story was the chase, and there were some fresh faces in this year's field, and we have 4 first-time chasers in the field with Kyle Larson, Sunoco Rookie of the Year candidate Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, and Austin Dillon. Now the field of 16 is officially set, and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series turns their focus to Chicagoland Speedway. For NASCAR.com, I'm Jonathan Merryman.